好，关于 Stanford 的这个访问学者，就是接收到 LEAP 的这个计划的这个入选，然后这次做第6次的公开分享的讲演。那首先需要从我的一路博士跨界到博士后，博士阶段的尾声的研究题目，到博士后短短半年之间不到，然后选取了这个 LEAP 的计划，它是一个一连串的这个过程。那从博士的题目开始讲起来分享，就是说当时的那个生物矿化领域呢，有一些 pending 的 issue， 首先我要来做介绍，然后呢，在第二个段落就是我合成了一些高镁 calcite 的这个carbonate， 高镁的 calcium carbonate， 然后所使用的是这个 lipid membrane 的系统。那整个鉴定的手法呢，运用了 XRD、FTIR、SEN、EDEX、固态密码跟 Sense。那第二个阶段呢，就是说我们看到了一些纳米单晶体，就是镁 calcite 的单晶呈现四五状的现象。那所使用的研究手法有 Fox ion beam、高解析的 TEM 跟暗场。那从镁 calcite 到镁 calcium phosphate 呢，就是我博士后的阶段所跨界，然后也是在这个主题上被入选，就是进入 Stanford 的研究。那整个一连串是属于一个生物矿化的领域。生物矿化有一些未解的 issue， 就是来自于说，当时他们运用了一些有机金属的 compound， 然后是非常远离天然，但为了要合成高镁 calcite 的这个晶相，它使用了高温锻煮、锻烧，甚至用无水的 THF 才能够制作这样的分子结构。那也提到说 PNAS 的这篇期刊，就是说为什么高镁的这个碳酸镁或是碳酸钙含镁的碳酸钙是那么难合成，是原因在于说镁的水核能是非常强的。如果今天要把水周围的镁周围的水，就是说剔除掉的话，它需要一个很高的能量，所以他们才会选用一个无水的有机溶剂，像 THF 啊、tetrahydrofuran 跟这个 formamide 都是属于有机的溶剂来制作。那进入导论的部分，我们知道 lipid 的一些效应，就是说它是人体的细胞膜，然后微质体的结构。在这个亲水基的部分是 phosphate， 亲油基呢就是这个烷类的结构。那我们预期说，我们使用 lipid 的系统，它可以产生一个 template 的效应，在这个碳酸钙成核长进的过程中，扮演了就是让负电荷去吸引正电荷的靠近，然后在这边周围 attraction to 这些 cation， 然后碳酸根也好，或者是磷酸钙的磷酸根也好，就是进入这个阳离子的这个周围，然后进行成核跟长进的过程。那首先我们是合成出的这个高镁 calcite 呢，它先来看到说晶相未鉴定之前，我们先看影像的这个分辨。在 spherical 的表面呢，它会有一些 nanoparticle 的生成，然后再进一步去细看蓝色的这个区域，它会有一些孔洞的性质的分布。那这时候的 scale 来到了3 micrometer， 然后再细部到200 nanometer， 可以看到就是内部的孔洞仍然是非常明显的。好，接下来进入 SEN 的这个下一步的分析，就是我们首先合成的这个样品呢，它到底有没有含镁含量进去多少，我们就用 EDEX 的mapping 的结果，然后再去算镁除以镁加钙的这个比例，大概是 23%， 就是镁含量大概有 23%， 甚至属于高镁含量的 calcite。那在定义上来说，高镁 calcite 我们算是首次在室温的环境下合成出来，而且是在有水的有机溶剂、有水的这个环境里面去合成。 那接下来我就用 Focus Ion Beam 去切这个球体，把它剔除掉之后，取这个薄片出来，然后呢去做 SRD， 做选区的这个 Electron Diffraction 的绕射，所以称为 SAED Selection Area Electron Diffraction。好，对于这个选区绕射呢，我们取绿色的区域，可以看到说。先看内部好，内部呢这边黄色也好，紫色的区域也好，它是呈现 amorphous 的 phase， 这不是多晶哦，是 amorphous 的。看到这边是没有那个晶相的。然后反而在靠近外围，就是镀 PT 的外围呢，它有一些黑色的这个点状颗粒的分布。那这边去打呢，它黄色跟蓝色的区域是多晶的形貌，也就是说，一颗一颗黑色点可能是单晶体，所以打下去的过程中，它还是有一些排列的差异性，所以形成这个多晶的形貌。那在这边的单晶呢，就比较排列比较有一个方向性，它就会呈现这个104面的特定面向，我们就可以assign它。好，这边是不同的这个比较远的一个影像呢，然后我们去把它的画面去做拼接的过程，这是1张、2张、3张图。刚刚提到内部是比较偏 amorphous， 然后外部呢是这个 polycrystal 的形貌 ，polycrystal 的海美 calcite。那我们用暗场来看，这时候黑点会转为白色的亮点，那这个亮点呢会有辐射状的分布。所以这边是高美 calcite 的性质，然后是单晶体，又为 nano 的大小，然后是 oriented， 就是同一个方向性。在结晶学上，有生物矿化学家就是发展了一个词，说称为结晶。那这个结晶的发现有别于传统以往的结晶学，它结晶学说先生成晶体，然后不停的去生长，然后 amplify 就是强化。但是结晶的定义也是来自于说奈米的单晶体先生成，然后它们产生一个 fusion 的现象，在一个 co-oriented 就是同样的一个方向性之后呢，再一次的串联成大的单晶体。那这两个路径是相当不同的。好，为了了解这个球体的结构，我们去了同步辐射中心去鉴定，可以看到说 in the each spherical， 我现在转换为英文的方式，以符合就是说我们 Stanford 的这个历练的过程。Let's for the each spherical we use the TXM technology to characterize the inner porous structure that is enclosed in the whole spherical particle. And when we use the different 2D imagery and use the immerse technology, that's collect all of the data and to build up the 3D imagery of the spherical particle that shows for the inner part we can see some of the porous structure inside this particle. So that means we synthesize the high magnesium calcite and the porous is enclosed and it's a lot of porous inside this spherical particle. That technology is used in the synchrotron radiation center, and we also thanks for Dr. Wang Junjie and my professor Jerry Chen. That's the first publication in Angwanta. That's in our lab, the first publication in the Angwanta paper. So let's the imagery cartoon and the video that shows the different slide for each slide of the spherical particle, and they use the algorithm to collect all the data and to show the imagery, 3D imagery. It's very similar to the CT results, but the resolution in the synchrotron radiation is 60 nanometer. Okay, so that's the publication. We use this title for our paper. That's high magnesium calcite methyl crystals, the formation in aqueous solution under ambient conditions. And for the sum of the paper survey, that we can see that the biomaterials published by the science paper is a high impact factor in the science field. They use the amide and the carbonate to, they use the organic molecules with the peptide, organic molecule, and to manipulate the speculite formation. And in that field, they want to build up the speculite morphology as long as possible. So that is almost a 200 micrometer longer for each speculite structure. So that publication is in Science, that they want to manipulate the speculite morphology, and they use the organic compound. So for this image, the spectrum shows the amide bond comes from the 650 wave number, and the carbonate group from the 1456 wave number. So the conclusion is that use the organic material, and the total content is 10 to 16%. And the 1.5% comes from the natural speculite structure. So probably that's a wholly issue, and that want to synthesize the speculite morphology as long as possible. So for this speculite, that's almost 200 micrometer, and they use 10 months to build up this speculite structure. And for our research, we observe and we find some speculite structure. That's very surprised to find this structure. That we use 2 months aging process. The micrometer speculite, the spherical is almost 10 micrometer, and the speculite is close to the millimeter. For this region, that's almost probably 400 to 600 micrometer. And for this longer area, the speculite is almost I think about 800. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it's about 800 micrometer. It's longer than the speculite that's published in science paper. That we use 2 months to synthesize this. That we use the aging condition, that the spherical is closed, and the fusion, and to synthesize the speculite structure. We try to zoom in some region, and the result is when we zoom in some region and use the focus ion beam to cut some of the speculite part, and to take this region into another technology, that's TEM. We use the TEM to characterize this region, and the whole bright dot comes from each single crystal. For one single crystal, we can use the SAED and to get the diffraction pattern that shows for this region is single crystal. So single crystal is different from the amorphous and the polycrystal. That means for this region is a whole single crystal. That's the same orientation for this particle. So that's a different region for the whole picture. It's lots of speaker-like structure. Not only one, we get lots of speaker-like structure. So in the second part, we use the focus ion beam to cut another region that's different. It's parallel to the speaker-like direction, and we cut this slide, and we want to know if for that region, if the two particle for this morphology, like two particle fusion to one speaker-like. So we cut this region, and some particle comes from the piece we lost this region, but it's okay. We just want to know if it's still single crystal in this region. So it's a different direction, and we check this part. The bright region comes from a single crystal. So this is the whole picture. We suppose that the two spherical comes together and to fission, that's stick in the fiber structure, and eventually they build out a speaker-like structure. So we take three regions: the 1 point, 2, the second, and the third point. For the first point, that's almost single crystal. That's about 18% magnesium. For this spot, this 104 direction, this comes from calcite peak. That's calcite feature. For the second part is also the upper region of the whole picture, and it's also same is the 18%, 18.5% Tg of magnesium. And the third point, it shows the almost polycrystal structure, and when we calculate the magnesium content comes from the D spacing, is almost to 24%. It's higher magnesium content than the outside region of the speaker-like structure. So in the speaker-like, in the inner part, it will be higher magnesium. In the outside part is lower magnesium percentage from this result. So when we go to the second research field, that we can go to the NTU and study the postdoc with the Wu Jiawen, Kevin Wu, and we use this result to go to Stanford. That we pick up by the lead program. I think for the lead program give me the chance to the Stanford and be a visiting scholar for 1 year. So for this result, we know that for the human bone, it's a calcium phosphate system. For each unit, it comes from the single crystal of the calcium phosphate. It's almost 20 nanometer scale for all of this single crystal, and it comes together with the collagen molecule. That is the hierarchical structure in the human bones. So for our for the teeth structure in the human body, we can see that the human tooth structure, and the second part is the tooth animal, and the outer animal rust, and the animal hydroxyapatite crystallite. So it's almost the same case with our calcium carbonate system. We can see the nano rust is oriented and the alignment together. There's a different imaging, and can show that magnesium is alignment together to distinguish in this nano rods to separate each of the nano rods. And from this result, it shows for each micrometer square they have the 550 crystalline in this region. And when they study the evolution of the tooth structure, from the beginning it has the high magnesium rich amorphous calcium phosphate, and when it evolve for a period of time, that hydroxyapatite can be formed, and the magnesium is exclusion to the single crystal, and its distribution is distributed on the spherical of the hydroxyapatite. That's from the nutrient paper. The magnesium deficient will cause the osteoporosis. That's one of the porosis that's happen in maybe the old man, and when we eat less magnesium and we have some deficiency, we need to compensate some foods from and get magnesium from some foods. So for this whole picture, it shows that magnesium is in homogeneous distribution in this region. So that is two cases. For the commercial hydroxyapatite, it will have the higher crystallinity, and the disadvantage is the biodegradability will very slow, and the mechanical property will also lower. But for the human bone hydroxyapatite, you will get a fast biodegradability, it's compatible, and the mechanical property is higher. So it's totally different. For the XRT, the human bone is poor crystallinity. That means that's comparable to compared to the commercial hydroxyapatite. It's synthesized from the high temperature, so its crystallinity is higher than the human one. And this is the research strategy. We use the lipid and the vesicle strategy to synthesize the calcium phosphate. And from some books that for the human body, there's constituted by some inorganic part, that's calcium phosphate, and the organic part is the lipid molecule. So for the FTIR result, when we study that from the setting time 5 hours to 19 hours, that's from the amorphous calcium phosphate to the calcium phosphate. That's magnesium hydroxyapatite. So that's the image difference from the amorphous to the high magnesium hydroxyapatite form. So that's the EDAS result. From the SEP amorphous calcium phosphate, we can see lots of nanoparticle. And for the 19 hour, we can see some column-like structure. And the XRD shows the 5 hours is amorphous and the polycrystalline. And for commercial one is hydroxyapatite. It's comparable similar to the human body cast and the commercial hydroxy apatite. So let's image from the SEM. That's 19 hour. So in this case, we can use the different initial solution. That the ratio is in calcium to magnesium 10, 5, and 1 to 1. That we can manipulate the result of the particle, that we can synthesize the different ratio of the calcium phosphate. That's about 9%, 12%, and 84%. We use this result to publish the USPTO patent in US. That's about 1918, yeah. And that's the SEM result for the 19 hour. That for this region is almost polycrystalline. Then the dark field shows the different light bright spots. It's come from the one single crystal, but for this whole region is polycrystal. And the phase sign is 211. So for the red region and the blue region comes from gold, and comes the same result. So for this particle region, there is the dark field in the F, image F. So that's conclusion. We use the magnesium and the lipid to manipulate the hydroxyapatite, and we synthesize the high magnesium calcite. That means we slow down the crystallization process from the amorphous phase to the higher incubation time is about 11 hours. Even in the 11 hours, they still keep in the poor crystallinity. It's not very high crystallinity. So we will synthesize a system. That's a strategy to mimic the human bone system. We try to synthesize that human bone structure in the solution environment. So thanks for your listening. That's all of my research from my PhD, postdoc, and in the Stanford University. We try to use that system to study the material synthesized in the silicon wafer and the surface. So I published that part in the video. That's for the last speech. So for this time, I will show you some imagery from the Stanford University. That's the campus that we go to the tower, and can see very far away from this campus, and the ocean can be seen here, and very comfortable in this region. We can study, we can eat the breakfast or tea time in this region. So that's another part in the Stanford. It's very famous because the church is the typical building in the Stanford, and very long history, and I think it's very quiet. You can try to sing your research idea to in this region. Just stand by here. Yeah, I like this church a lot, and I got some ticket that's for free to see some concert for the violin show. We go to the hiking. Yeah, there's a very large trees that's very empty inside the inner part, because it's burned out by some fire, and it's burned into gets a big hole inside. I think that maybe we can fill up maybe 10 to 20 people in this region. And this is in the campus in Stanford. So we also go to Yosemite that with my wife for that's about 3 weeks trip. We go to Yosemite and we go to the Grand Canyon. That's the high temperature, about 40 degrees. So from the maybe 7 degree to 40 degree in 3 weeks trip. Yeah, that's crazy. And there's a theater in around the Stanford University. It played the Hitchcock movies. It's a very scareable movies. That's the birds. Yeah. Before the show, they will have a piano shows before the movie, and then after that the show is beginning. So that's a campus in Stanford, and that's the bus. We can see that bus in the movie, in the Marvel movie 上戏. They also they play that movie in this bus. It's a nice movie. And we also go to some meditation group that's from Taiwan, and in US they have 5 place in that practice the meditation, and that's our Shifu. That's he's about 88 years old in that year, and this Miaoming 老师 he's in Atlanta now, and he built up the Zen Heart Center that's in Atlanta. And the last student also practice the meditation is Zen Chan meditation, that's from Berkeley, and some sister from the Pigs. She's working the Pigs company, Pixar company, 皮克斯动画. And there's also engineer in Silicon Valley, this one and this one. Yeah, that's a very happy. For first time I got a second car. Yes, second car. Yes, I buy a car. That's when we go to the Stanford to drive that car, and the owner told me that the Tim Cook will appear in around the Stanford. So I pick up one date to go to that Starbucks, and I see the Tim Cook at that time. It's about in the morning, in the 5 o'clock. He just sit in the corner, and I take a picture and to talk my wife. And I like this region. I ride the bicycle around here and can see the birds, and the air is very nice. There's no pollution in this region. And there are some coffee shop, and some engineer will go to this coffee shop to talk their idea, maybe to get some business opportunity in this coffee shop. And we go to the Tabura region. That's the Yuninning Fuzhong. That's we have a nice talk, and she give me some advice and some suggestion for my work and for my next step, my career. Yeah, I thank Yuninning Fuzhong. So that's Stanford campus, and then that's the museum. Some beautiful sculpture here. And for last year, the Guo Dong also came to the Stanford. It's about 1980, I think 1980. Yeah, that's the year. 2080 2018 2018年 ，That's 郭董有来，郭董 came to the Stanford to have a talk. Yeah, that's for the AI topic. So that's all. That's my whole want to share with you. That is a good experience, and I thanks the leap give me an opportunity to go to Stanford. That I will a very 就是非常难忘的一个经历，就是在2018年这一年来到了 Stanford。进入2019、2020后之后，就是开始就是疫情了，就没有像那一个年度那么好。那很感谢科技部的 Leap 给我这样的机会，当年给我这样的肯定，这样有机会也很想在回台湾的时候再跟大家分享。好，谢谢，拜拜。